So there's that moment in every game night where you look at each other after finishing a game and you go, what are we going to play next? The other group has just finished up and everybody goes, wait, do we play all together in one game or do we split apart and play some more small games? That's a great question because it really comes down to that pivotal moment. But the problem is the games that you play together can sometimes feel a bit of a treachery after you've played them so many times, or some of them can be spectacular. Which brings us to our choice today. We're talking about Muse from QSF Games, Quick, Simple, Fun Games. Let's take a look at how Muse plays, what sets it apart, what makes it different, and then we'll come back and talk about final thoughts right now. So this is what it looks like when you sit down to open the box of Muse. You get these crazy looking Dixit art style or Mysterium art style cards. I love that. Mummy burying himself or unburying himself. Depends on how you view it. Slightly crazy looking Cthulhu monster. All kinds of weird surreal art. And there's a reason for this, is because your job in this game is to get your team to guess the one clue or the one card out of 6 that you've been chosen to give them. And the way this works is one team will get 6 of these cards. So we'll hold 6 right here. And then they will choose 2 of these Muse cards or inspiration cards. And the way these work, they're things like say a word with exactly 3 letters. They are things like make a stationary shape using both of your hands. Name a non-fictional article of clothing. Name a non-fictional mode of transport. Name a non-fictional animal. And you can see that theme grows on and on and on about non-fictional things. There's things like hum a tune. Make a shape, do all sorts of things, name a non-fictional body part. A lot of them are word ones, but there's also ones like this that use your finger to draw a shape into the air. The way this works is the other team will draw 2 of these as well. They'll look at their clues, their 6 cards, and they'll choose one of them and they'll choose one of these. And the way it works is they'll hand this card and let's just say this card over to the person who's sending their team the clue. These cards get shuffled back up and 6 more are drawn. When that one comes back, it gets mixed, or 5 more are drawn, I should say. 5 more are drawn. This one comes back, gets mixed up in these. No one gets to see these, not even the opposing team. This gets mixed up. These get laid back out. And the person has to do, let's just say, what this is right here. So they picked this one. Their team doesn't know that yet. They have to say a word with 3 letters. So this one's actually going to be rather easy because I would say the word T, T-E-A, boom, T. They would get it and go from there. But it might be something difficult. It might be, let's just to give you an idea how hard this would be, name a non-fictional, no, some of these aren't that hard. So name a non-fictional person, alive or dead. So I don't know who you would pick for this one, a non-fictional person alive or dead. You know, these are pretty tough. But you can come up with things like that and go from there. Then it goes back and forth like that. If you get it, if your team gets it, you claim the card. If your team doesn't get it, the other team doesn't get the card. It just kind of keeps going until someone gets, I believe it's 5 cards. The person to claim 5 of these masterpiece cards wins the game. 2 and 3 player variants are pretty similar. You're just trying to get each other to guess those words. Now, we do play with one other variant, which is where we do not let the team see what this card says. So, and I know you say, well, what's the point of that? It's just a nuance to make it a little bit more difficult. So it says name a published book. So we wouldn't show the other team that. We would just have them name a published book. And so out of the blue, the clue is, you know, Mere Christianity or Screw Tape Letter or something like that, right? C.S. Lewis. But they don't know that this says name a published book. So if you say Twilight, well, they don't necessarily know. You say, Brian, why does that matter? It just makes it a little bit more fun. I like that twist a little bit. And all of our friends agree that we really like that twist of not showing what the clue is, especially in this one. Name a fictional character from any published work. Now, you might get it, but that's the idea. Or some of the ones where you draw, right? Name a game released in the last 20 years. Some of the ones where you draw or act something out. If you don't tell them exactly what you're doing, it kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. Does it need to be made difficult? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes it's absolutely ridiculously hard, and sometimes it's really easy. So that's how Muse plays. What do I think about it? How do I like Muse or how do I dislike Muse? First of all, I love Muse. Now, I noticed it on if you go to Cool Stuff Inc. right now and you go to the page about Muse, it has a quote from Tom Vassell, the best party game of 2017. Is it? Probably so. Like, I don't know a lot of party games that came out in 2017, but I really, really enjoyed this game. I didn't know if I was going to like this or not, and it turned out I really, really liked it. And also, way harder than we thought it was going to be. Sometimes you think it's going to be super easy, and other times you think it's going to be super hard, and you're wrong both times. I love the idea of, it's one of those games where you look at your team and you go, there's no way they're going to think that. Of course, they'll never get that. And in your mind, you're like, that's exactly what I was thinking, right? When your team is discussing, deliberating, and they're like, he wouldn't know this. And you're like, well, geez, you just sold me kind of short there. That's exactly what I thought. And then they picked something else because they thought there's no way you could know that or make that connection, and of course you did, and then you lose. Or even better, it's the ones where it's like you come up with this crazy connection where it's like Julia Stiles, Matt Damon, Born Identity, Julia Stiles, stylish clothing, therefore I picked this and that, and people go, oh yeah, it's stylish, it's that one. And you're like, how in the world did they get that jump, you know? Or even, you know, when you're setting the cards up for the other player, and then you get them and you're looking at them, you're like, okay, good, this is what I'm going to go with, this is my clue, this is my inspiration card, perfect, I've got it. And then the 6 cards turn up and they're like 4 of them could be the answer now. And so I love the idea that that card gets mixed in with others that no one's seen yet. So when you're coming up and formulating your answer, it could totally change right there on the fly. So Muse is a very, very fun party game. I like the differences. I like the fact that it's not all word puzzles and it's not all, you know, charade style puzzles. It's all different sort of clues that you can give. And that's what makes this game different, is it kind of takes all these pieces from everywhere and puts it into a nice gumbo and makes it really work. So that's Muse from QSF. Definite win. It's an 8 for me on party games, which, you know, I like deep, heavy games, but this one's a very, very, very fun party game. So check out Muse. It plays very fast, and it can be one of those games you do as an activity, kind of like Concept, instead of an actual game if you wanted to. Well, you don't really care who wins, you don't really care who loses. You're just doing it to have fun and play. So make sure to check out Muse by QSF. Great art, great cards, great simplicity, very small box. Has a 2 or 3 player variant. It's more like practice if you do that, but the game is great. So I'm Bryan Drake with the latest retro here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us for more videos. Till then, we'll see ya.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.